All right, what's up, guys? So today we're going to talk about how you guys can get an aesthetic physique, right? So an aesthetic physique is really what people want when they go to the gym, when they start this fitness journey, when people want to get in shape, right? They really want an aesthetic physique, but a lot of times they don't know they want an aesthetic physique. And they start bulking, they start eating everything in sight, they start dirty bulking, they start just becoming a mass monster. They start eating like 20 protein shakes a day, 20 protein bars a day, or whatever. And they go to the gym and they lift, they go to the gym every day and they try to like deadlift 600 pounds and they try to do all this stuff. And then, you know, at the end of the day, they're just building mass. That's really what it is. They're just turning themselves into a mass monster. But that's not really aesthetic. You're not going to look aesthetic. And it's not actually going to give you that look that you're actually looking for, because an aesthetic physique is actually going to be what's attractive to the female gaze, you know. Because people say, well, I went to the weight room and I got jacked. I went to the weight room, I went to the gym and I got jacked. But all I get is just guys telling me, hey bro, you look great. Guys telling me, hey bro, what's your bench max? What's your deadlift max? Can you do 235? Can you do 255? And it's just like, yeah, because your physique is not aesthetic. It's not pleasing to the female gaze. You just went in there and just started lifting a whole bunch of fucking weight, and you just started eating a whole bunch of random protein and bulking and eating anything. And that's not actually going to help you get an aesthetic physique. So if you actually want to get aesthetic physique, we are going for the V taper, the V taper physique. This is the basis of the aesthetics. This is the basis of an aesthetic physique, to have that V taper. So what does that look like? So that means you're going to have a wide frame. That is your shoulders, that is your back, that is your chest, specifically upper chest. You're going to want to have a wide frame. And then when it comes to the abs, it comes to the torso, when it comes to the lower abdomen, right? You're going to want that to be skinny. You're going to want that to be smaller. So it just makes a V taper. Now this is, if you don't have anything, right? If you don't have anything, you don't have like muscle, you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have veins, you're not in a low body fat percentage, but you at least have a V taper, then your physique is already going to be aesthetic at that point, because that's how important the V taper is. So that's going to be one thing that we're looking to get. And to get that, you're going to need two things. Of course, you're going to need the wide frame, which means you're going to want to target, you're going to want to prioritize 3 muscle groups. When you're going to the gym, right? There's so much things to do, so much exercises to do in the gym, so many different workouts to do. But you're going to want to prioritize these 3 things, because we're just worried about the V taper. All that other stuff doesn't matter. The upper chest, the shoulders, specifically the side delts and the rear delts. That's going to give you that 3D look. And then the back. That's really it, right? Your lats, your upper chest, your back, side delts, like, because that's what the frame consists of. When you see somebody's physique, when you look at somebody, when you look at like a Alex Eubank, or you look at like Jeff Seed, or you look at like a John Skywalker, or a Mike O'Hearn, or guys like that, shout out to them. When you look at physiques like that, you're really basing everything off of the frame. First comes the frame, right? That's what's in. When you look at people in real life, like when you walk by somebody, or somebody walks in the coffee shop and like you feel that physical presence, it's like, okay, your head just kind of turns, because your body's like, there's some huge stud coming in, like there's some big guy. All of that is based on the frame. That's what it's all based off. So the frame is really just, it's what it is. It's the frame, it's the foundation of an aesthetic physique. So you're gonna want to prioritize those muscle groups, the upper chest. And to prioritize the upper chest, I mean, that's like in things like incline. Incline is really good just when it comes to the incline bench press. That's good. And I would do a lot of reps. I would do a lot of reps because when it comes to the aesthetic physique, we're not going in there trying to do like 4 heavy reps. We're not trying to load up the plates to ego lift and show people, hey, we can do 3 plates. Like, that's not really what this is about. We're trying to do 6, 7 sets, 10 reps, 12 reps of like the most important workouts. Because all these other workouts that you guys see on Instagram, all these cool, you can do these things, and there's all these different exercises and workouts. We don't really care about those. We're sticking to the staples. We're sticking to incline bench. We're sticking to lat pull downs. We're sticking to, what's it called? I always forget these, whatever these things are called. The the shoulders, whatever that's called, I always forget. And we're sticking to like the rear delts, so we got these as well. We're sticking to a rear delt exercise. We're sticking to shoulder press. We're sticking to things like that, right? Chest, back, shoulders. And then we just want to spam those as much as possible because that's all that matters. That's all that matters. We don't need to do all the extra stuff. And when it comes to getting a thin waist, because that's the second part of the V taper, that's going to come down to your calorie intake. That's going to come down to your cardio. That's going to come down to your body fat percentage. Because when you are shredding fat from your body, when you are lowering your body fat percentage and you're trying to get lean, fat is really stubborn, guys. And it varies based on your genetics, but in general, fat is very stubborn. So the last places that your fat is going to leave your body when you're burning fat, the last places that your body will store fat is, of course, the most attractive places that you wanted to do it in the first place, which is, is going to be the obliques, it's going to be the love handles, it's going to be the face fat. So that's why being in a calorie deficit, getting in a low body fat percentage is so important, because you're not even going to see that disappearing of fat, that burning of fat in those places that you want to see it, until it gets into an optimal level. So we can get mad at the gods, we can get mad at whoever we want, we can get mad at genetics of whoever, we can get mad at biology, but fat is stubborn and it doesn't want to leave. So you're gonna have to get into those premier, single digit body fat is a little bit more extreme. It's possible. But I would say as long as it's in that 10 to 15 range at the least, that should be fine for you to at least be, aesthetic. So we got the lifting protocol. We got what you're supposed to be doing in the gym. Number 2, your diet. We kind of went into that. So your diet to have an aesthetic physique, of course, it's going to be based off having a low calorie count, a high protein count, and to keep you in a low body fat percentage. So honestly, me personally, I don't really consume any carbs. My diet mainly consists of like 90% beef, 99.9% beef, consists of oysters, eggs, tuna, sardines, salmon, because those are the best things, the most nutrient dense foods in the world. And when it comes to building up testosterone, when it comes to what your body needs to perform optimally, those foods have everything you need, right? I'm not getting anything from rice that I can't get from all these other foods. I'm not getting anything from leafy greens that I can't get from beef, salmon, eggs. Like, there's nothing I would really need from these carbs, right? Also, when your body is producing ketones, this is just going to make this process a lot more easier. So that would put the diet in some type of carnivore keto diet range. I know that like scares people and alarms people, but what I would just say is you want to limit carbs as much as possible, and you want to get as much protein in as possible. So you want to focus on beef. Every meal that you should eat, every meal that you eat should be like 80% protein, 80 to 90% protein. Every meal that you eat should contain beef at the least, either beef or salmon or um, oysters or lamb. You know, I would prioritize those things, beef, lamb, instead of the chicken, because people don't know. They try to do this lean thing, right? No fat, lean, no fat. Well, you need fat actually to build testosterone, because cholesterol is actually a building block of testosterone. So that's why we see these people try to get on these low fat diets, and it just doesn't work out well for them. They feel low energy, they feel like they're dragging along in their day. It's because you need fat, right? Fat is going to be the building block. And for me, and if you're limiting carbs and you're in a diet where you just are prioritizing meat, then you're definitely going to need fat, because your body's going to be running off fat instead of sugar, instead of carbs. So, which is going to make things easier for you. So, prioritize protein, prioritize meat. That's going to be number one key thing, because we want to limit calories. We're going to limit the calories, but also we want to maximize the protein. So that's why if you just do all protein, I mean, it would be the best, because you would be limiting calories to the highest point, and then also maximizing protein to the highest point. People don't know, but there's a guy out there named Vince Garanda. He's a legend in the weightlifting space. Vince Garanda was a huge influence to me when it came to me choosing my diet. He put all his guys, by the way, he trained guys like Schwarzenegger, he trained guys like multiple different Mr. Olympias, and they would say whenever his bodybuilders and whenever his guys came to the competitions, they just stood out. They stood out of all the people. They just looked different. They were just like, just crafted and chiseled way different than everybody else. And that's because he put them on a steak and eggs diet. That's all they were eating, steak, eggs, and they would do a little bit different variations of that. And they would do like some type of weekly carb thing that I don't do, but that was a big influence, and that was a big inspiration on why I went to pretty much my diet, beef, eggs, steak, eggs, with some fish, with some oysters in there. And because, Vince Garanda is the GOAT, right? If you guys don't know that. So, and that was without steroids too back in the day. That was no steroids. That was no testosterone, no HGH. They were all built different, just because once you prioritize protein, that's like your muscles are made of protein. So, of course, these guys were looking like Greek gods, So that's what pretty much I go off of, and it helped me. So that's the basis for the diet. And the low body fat percentage is going to come from, like you said, we need to be in a low body fat percentage. That's going to come from you I would say completely cut out sugar, right? It's going to be hard to get in a low body fat percentage if you are drinking these sugary drinks, if you are eating these sugary foods, if you're eating these processed foods. It's just like, I don't see how you're going to be able to get that done. Like, because you already need to limit your calories. And a lot of these times, these sugary drinks, sugary foods, they have so many calories. They don't have any protein, so you're not getting any muscle from it. It's just like a pure hit. You're just taking a gamble. You're putting it all on red and leaving the casino. You have no chance of winning. So it's like, what is the point? I would try to cut out all sugar if you can. I know that's hard, so I say limit it as much as you can, because You know, the more sugar that you eat in your diet, the less chance you even have of being in that good body fat percentage. So that's just the way it is, guys. I know. You'll get used to it. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You'll live. You'll live, guys. So that's going to be important. Limit sugar, and you're going to want to as well. We got to get the 10K steps in. 10,000 steps per day. This is going to put you in a state of burned calories and movement. That's going to get your body flowing. That's going to get your body moving. That's going to let your body know, hey, we're alive. We're a living human being. We're a person. We have seen the damage that the sedentary lifestyle is doing to people. I mean, just take a look at any one of these guys walking down the street. Go to Walmart, go to Target, go to the movies, go to the ball games, and look at these guys that have these office jobs that are living these sedentary lives. It's destroying us. It's lowering our test. It's making us look like malnourished cancer patients. It's making us look ugly. It's making us fat. So it's all about movement. Movement is going to be key because you're going to need to burn calories and you're going to need to move. 10,000 steps is optimal, right? Because when you get 10,000 steps, your sleep is also going to be better. You're going to benefit when you sleep because your body is going to be more tired, and towards the end of the day when you wind down, your body's going to know, okay, we did something today. We actually did something. We actually moved. We actually had a day. So now we're winding down towards the night. Your body's going to start to get tired. Also, this is why you need to get sun in the morning. You need to wake up when the sun rises and get your circadian rhythm intact. When the sun goes down, you need to watch the sunset as well, so your body knows, okay, it's time to go, and that's going to help your sleep because you need about 8 hours of sleep a night. That's the last thing. You need 8 hours of sleep because your sleep is where your body's going to be doing the recovering. That's where your body's going to be burning this fat, doing the digestion, building the muscle. All the work that you did during the day is going to build up and show in pretty much process when you sleep. So if you're only sleeping for 2-3 hours, you're not going to be able to go through that full entire recovery process. Also, your health indicators are going to start to be shot. So you don't want to gamble with that. And if you do all those things, then your physique should be as aesthetic as it ever been. At least 20 times more aesthetic than it is now. I'm helping a couple guys with this process. I know it's a lot of stuff that we just talked about. I know it's a lot of steps. So we are helping people with that process. We do have programs, and I'll be in touch with people that hit me up they want to transform, they want to ascend. They're tired of looking in the mirror, seeing this chubby beta male in the mirror. They're like, all right, man, I want to see something, and I want to look at myself in the mirror, and I want to be proud. I want to look at myself in the mirror, and I want to see a Brad Pitt from Troy looking back at me, And that's what people say in my DMs. It's like, well, bro, okay, well, let's see what we could do, We're helping people out. Hit me up, DM me on Instagram. We'll work something out, see what we could do for you. But subscribe to the channel, guys. More informational free game videos for you. Free game, all on the channel. So like the video. Let me know what you guys think.